Good morning, class. I hope you had a fun time reading Annabelle Lee over the weekend. So, for today, we will be continuing our poetry discussion, focusing specifically on mood. To start off today's discussion, the first thing that we will be doing is just a small activity to get us going with our lesson. In your notebooks or a spare piece of paper that you have, I want you to create a love poem. It can be any type of love. Love for your friends, for your family. It can be unrequited love, maybe, or the love that got away. If you have one of those, it's all up to you. Now, I don't want you to think much about the rhyming scheme or the structure of your poem. So, this will be a free verse poem, just like one of the different types of poetry that we've discussed last meeting, right? So, just write the poem as how it comes to you. It can have rhymes if you want it, but I don't want you to think too much about it as you're writing. So please remember to save your poem and every activity that we will be doing, as it will be part of your portfolio at the end of the year. So you will have the next 15 minutes to craft your poem. Are you guys done? Great. So now let's get to the actual lesson proper. You're going to be discussing mood and its importance to poems. Now, mood is the overall feeling or atmosphere, right? Atmosphere that is prevalent to the entirety of the poem. This is set up by the poet's use of tone, setting, and theme. Now, we will be discussing those three later. And those three has the capacity or the ability rather to provoke certain emotions and feelings from the reader. Now, first we will be discussing setting and how it contributes to the mood. Now, setting is the time and place that the poem is established in, giving us the context where and when the poem is situated. The setting could include the time of the day, a very specific place, and the lighting also that is provided in the poem that also contributes to the setting. All of this contributes to helping the reader situate the poem in the physical world, in the real world rather. Next is tone. Now, tone is similar to mood, but it is related to the voice of the poet and the attitude of the poet towards the subject matter and their audience. Lastly is the theme. The theme is, as everyone knows, is the overall meaning or lesson of the poem. The theme contributes to the mood because the overall meaning of the poem also carries an atmosphere or feeling that adds to the prevailing mood of the poem. Now, going back to that poem that you just made, I'm going to give you a few minutes to identify the mood of your poems. What feeling or atmosphere is your poem conveying? Is it gloomy? Is it hopeful? Does it have a mood of uncertainty, maybe? Or does it have a sense of desperation, maybe pride? It's all up to your poem's atmosphere. Okay? Finish? Now, moving on to Annabelle Lee. Edgar Allan Poe writes incredible poetry, mostly centered on a scene or an event, but sometimes because of how articulate his words are, and we aren't used to reading these types of poetry nowadays, it can be difficult pinpointing the mood of his works. To help us determine the mood of a poem or any other text for that matter, I want you to draw, or one thing that we can do, is to visualize the scene or the setting described in the text. So for your next activity, I want you to draw the scene in Annabelle Lee and identify the parts of the scene that contributes to the setting of the mood of the poem. Now, these elements are words that describes the place, the time, the lighting of the poem, and see to it that you write down what those words mean. So, one of the repeating words in Annabelle Lee is the word sea, like dagat, right? So I want you to think about what the connotation meaning of the word sea in accordance to the poem in accordance to the poem. So I'll give you guys another 15 minutes to do so, and after that each of you will be presenting your drawing to the class. Okay. So now that we've established that something like the image of a sea can give off multiple feelings when coupled with other elements. Like the sea in the morning can give off the feeling of joy and excitement and new beginnings. But at night, when the sea is coupled with the moon and the wind, it can give off the feeling of solemnness and peacefulness, right? It goes to show that all of these elements, the setting, the theme, and the tone, has to come and work together to evoke specific emotions from the reader. So for the final activity for today, I want you to write a reply to Annabelle Lee as the addressee of the poem. And I want you to try and match the mood of it so that I can see if you guys really got the idea of today's lesson. The reply doesn't have to be in a poem form, no, but it can be if you want to. The reply could be in the form of a letter, as long as you try to capture the same mood of Annabelle Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. So, thank you guys for listening and participating in today's discussion. As an assignment, okay, I want you to rewrite the first poem that you did today, the one about love earlier, and try to make it convey a different mood than what it originally did. Use the techniques that you learned today, so manipulating elements of the poem and such, to change and shift the mood. Do remember to keep every activity that we do, as it will be part of your final portfolio. So next meeting, please read the next part of the poetry lesson and then prepare for a quiz. Yes, we will do have a quiz next meeting. So I hope you guys had fun and learned something about poetry and mood and how it is achieved. And I will see you guys in our next meeting. Bye!